All right.
All right. So we're all set.
Yes.
So you guys are going out for a little tour.
Yes, we are. I think it kicks off on November 2nd,
You're in
and we will
Ridgeway.
be around Montreal November 8th at Petit Campus.
Yeah. Well, Petit Campus.
Petit Campus. And then
Campus is like you say it as if you're saying the English word of
Okay.
a campus.
Campus.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different though because we go campus. Like it's so exaggerated.
Hmm.
I feel like, but there's also in November 9th we're going to Sherbrooke, Quebec.
Yeah.
And that's at you'll have to help me with this one. Bookwa Bookwe
I took a picture of your tour. So the Sherbrooke
Help me
one.
out.
Oh, geez, even I. Buck Bière, probably.
Something like that, yeah. I will learn by the time I get there, I
Well,
promise.
bière is beer, so it sounds like fun already.
Oh, okay. Bookwe. Okay.
And normally a buck is like a pint, so
Alright.
it might mean a pint of beer.
A pint of beer. That's a really good tip, thank you. Now I can pretend that I knew that
Yeah.
the whole time, you know?
You've been in
But
Montreal only once before, I believe, when you played at
yes.
Opatro V's.
Opatavis with Pinup, who are awesome people. I'm not sure if you know who they are.
Yeah, well, I caught the show. I was there.
Oh my God, yes. I didn't know if you stayed around for them, but yeah, they're so sweet, and we got to stay with them. We didn't even meet them until that day,
Hmm.
and then they let us stay, like the whole five-piece band at their place in the middle of their apartment. So yeah, they're very sweet people, and it didn't work out this time that we could do a show together now because I think they're doing a new thing. They're like a new project.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've been following that, but we're excited to be back. We haven't hit Montreal since then, as you know, and it's been like heartbreaking. Like it was such a good time, and that's probably the most request we get is like, "When are you coming to Montreal?" And I'm like, "I know, I want to."
Mhm.
So it feels really good to finally come back.
Yeah, and you'll be in a cool area of town too. I mean, where you were, it was really interesting by Mount Royal and all that. Now you're going to be more like on the main, what we call like the Saint Laurent Street. It's kind of you got a lot of cool restaurants,
Cool.
some some great shops with like vintage clothing or consignment shops. So you'll have plenty to do
Cool.
if you have a bit of spare time.
I try. I mean, I try to at least we get to eat. So we always get to eat somewhere. So it's
Yeah.
always good to know that if there's always any suggestions for good places to eat, we can use that.
But we kind of met on Instagram a couple years ago, and
Yeah, and then you came out to
and
do the show.
since then I've kind of seen you guys kind of explode. So I'm seeing you on like TV shows, you know, like the morning shows. You're on radio stations. You're on Sirius XM, I believe, and
Yeah.
Facebook. So how did that evolution kind of come about? Like you from going from relatively a new band to start getting all this exposure and
Well, that's kind of like a very big, heavy question because it's hard to know completely because it's like you do all you can in the work that you do and the work that you put out, and then you kind of put it out there and you give it into the hands of everyone else, like
Mhm.
into the hands of everyone else in the world, and then once you give it, it's like fortunately for us, the hands that have received it have helped lift us up,
Mhm.
you know? So I do think that not to, that for sure that we put in so much work. So we really do when it comes to planning and for everything that you can do beforehand that comes before doing a release or before doing something like that's something we work on really hard, and then you put it out into the atmosphere and you put it out with positive um, vibes and hope that it is received. And fortunately for us, like I said, it's been a great run, and it's always uplifting, and it's been a beautiful process throughout, and it's just been exciting to kind of just keep running on the on that treadmill.
Mhm. You
It's
got the
fun. It
momentum
keeps
going.
fun. Exactly. Yeah.
And I know you're extremely busy because every time I'm in town and we try to meet up, you're always like shooting a video. Actually, every single time you're shooting a video.
Really?
I mean, it's only it's
That's
like
so funny because I don't even do it that often.
I
It's
know, but
killing
I
me.
just happen to kind of go to town whenever you're on a shoot. But that is something that a lot of bands have not invested as much into. But you guys are pumping, new videos, and they're always I mean, really entertaining and full of high energy, kind of like your shows.
Yeah. Well, I guess the way that we view it is that it's what's incredible about what you can do now in music and in art is it is all encompassing. So it is a message, whether it's from it starts with the song, of course, and the message of the song and what we're saying, but then you can pull from that and create other pieces of art from it, and use the video to extend the message, or use the live shows to us, which are so important. One of the most important things to us are the live shows, and it's like it's hard for us. The reason the album was called Control Freak was because it's hard for us to cut back on quality. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, we want to be able to do everything and all the things and do them as artful and as loving as possible. And we find it that it's like all part of the process. It's not just now we have a song and we have to make a video for it. It's exciting. Like, we have a song we can make an incredible video for. Let's like put them together and find something that works really well together so they can both blossom. So that's kind of, I think, how we feel about everything and every piece of artwork, or like whether it's like a social media post or a graphic or a video or whatever we do, it's part of the artistic
Mhm.
message.
And I think when you have a goal as a musician, you do get this like hit of dopamine and all these chemicals that go to your brain when you reach your goal, but it's fleeting. It doesn't last very long. But if you
Mm-hmm.
can find happiness or joy out of the things that get you there, you can really be kind of happy with that journey. The journey is almost more rewarding than the goal because as soon as you hit the goal,
Oh,
you create a new one. So, and you seem like you're
yeah.
enjoying the journey, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love making music videos. It's so in this aspect, it is more. We each have jobs. We're a very collaborative band. When it comes to the music, we 100% are collaborative, and everyone writes on every song, and so everything's always equal in that way. But when it comes to other aspects in the band or the business, we do have our own jobs that we try to work really hard at being good at. And mine is art direction, social media, and for the most part, the videos and the video concepts, because it kind of underlines with
Hmm.
that. So, talking to me about it, I'm super passionate about the videos. Once we have the song and we've made something together, for the most part, we all work together on it, of course, but I'll sit there and research and think and try to come up with like what I see in my like it's hard because I see these crazy images in my head and I'm like, oh my god, how are we going to make this happen on a budget?
Hmm.
Like, but like it's just like this craving that you just see it, and it's the same thing with music. You hear it in your mind, and then you have to go make it happen in real life. So it's that again with a video. Um, and unfortunately for us, we're not also all videographers and all that stuff, so it
Hmm.
involves a lot of other people and that kind of thing. But we've been really lucky to have an incredible team who has worked with us on this video and the last two videos, who is really passionate. And anytime we approach them or I come up to them like, hey, so I had this idea, I want us all to have like, you know I want our limbs in the last video to just be floating in a weird like vat of latex. They're like, whoa, that's insane. Okay, let's make it happen. Rather than be like, that's crazy, that's expensive, I don't think we make it happen. Like, and I've talked to other video directors who that is an option, and I understand where they're coming from. But it's been great to work with people who are just as passionate and excited about making the impossible come true, which I feel in this band is kind of our theme, like making the impossible come true. Like we always work on whatever small budget we have, and I've always believed that there is a way to make something happen if you believe in it.
And I find that a lot of your videos, you'll embrace your friends. They'll end up all showing up, and it always seems like a party. There's,
Oh yeah.
there's always a party somewhere in there, and I think that describes well your live show. It feels like I've only attended one, and I see a lot of shows. I review a lot of shows, but it felt like a party. Like everybody's having a good time. The energy that you put out is just tremendous. I mean, you're like a little force field in yourself, by just yourself, and then with the rest of the band combined, it's really fun. And I really thought it was a good show, and I think that this tour will get you to exposed to more cities across Canada, and even some
Mm-hmm.
small towns like Sherbrooke is a cool city.
Yeah.
And they'll get to experience what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, like I don't think anyone knows this, but I grew up in for a couple of years in Gatineau.
Oh yeah, okay. So on the other side of Ottawa.
Yeah, and my first language was French, but unfortunately, when I moved to Ottawa, I forgot all my French as a child. So I do have a connection to Quebec, and a piece of my heart always when I go back is like so interested in, my past life
Hmm.
that I can't really remember too much as a kindergarten, an adolescent child, but there's something about it that's really wonderful, and um, it's nostalgic, even though I'm not necessarily sure why it's so nostalgic to me.
Hmm. I think a lot of our past is a good filter for how we view the world today, and it's interesting that you have that. Is there any bands that you might remember or singers that maybe that are French that you maybe have listened to, your parents listened to
Oh,
when you were young,
wow.
to bring you back to that
Um,
time?
so hard. So many things happen that my memory isn't the best because of it, because I'm always having to remember more things on top of things. But so one of my favorite musicians of all time, funny enough, and of course it started because my mom and my whole family immigrated, was Celine Dion was one of my first people that exposed me to music or like pop music because
Hmm.
obviously that's what my mom listened to. So that is something I prominently remember was what, like I remember a lot of Celine's French songs being played, and I to this day again because of nostalgia love Celine Dion and what she must have ingrained in me somehow as a child. Um, and then there was somebody else, honestly. I can't remember exactly what her name is. Maybe you can help me. She's like one of the most famous French singers of all time. I know that she was like a bigger woman, and I think she died.
Oh, Ginette Renault, maybe.
It might, yes, yes, I think so. Like, see what I mean? Like, pieces of my memory are
Hmm.
like, I remember these things and piecing them together, my mom playing it all the time and loving it, but then it's like, it's not all there. I should probably talk to her about it before I go.
It's almost like another world. I mean,
Yeah.
you're so busy now, so it's hard to keep track of everything. But I'm actually possibly distantly related to Celine. It's yeah.
No.
I don't know, like
That,
long cousins. Not close enough, or else I'd be living in Vegas right now. But
yeah,
far enough that I somewhere along the line there's some Dion blood in me, my on my mom's side.
that is so cool. Yeah, she's such a badass. Like, yeah, I have a lot of respect for her. I have a lot of respect for like mainstream pop artists in general, just because I can't. I try to imagine how difficult that job is and how much how much is involved in it, and it makes my head explode a little bit.
Mm.
And then I also think to myself, oh look, I'm like trying to be successful, and I'm like, my head is gonna explode a little bit.
But I find that you have it. It's not 100% pop what you do.
No, no, no,
There's a little bit of this like a tiny tinge of like punk behind it somewhere. There's a little
no.
bit
Yeah,
of I don't know.
you're
It's
right. I guess when I mean pop, I mean music that is in the pop form.
Mhm.
Like chorus, verse, like that type of thing. When I speak of pop music, but for sure, like we in the band, we're like kind of a conglomerate of our influences. And so, even though we didn't grow up or we're not exactly listening to the same thing, it's so kind of the bubbles go so close to each other that they mend in some ways. And the music that comes out of it from us is really interesting because I think we really are like, you can hear a lot of our influences in our music, even though, like, I might not necessarily know because it might be an influence coming from
Mhm.
Zach, the guitarist, that I'm like, oh, I don't know that band or that song, but it influenced into the song, and then in another part of the song, I've influenced it through something else, through a life experience or something. So that's the incredible part about music and collaborating, and how it's just thousands and thousands of little pieces, shoved into this one thing that works somehow.
Yeah,
So
and I think as a band you have a gift to create something that's very catchy. I mean, the way you construct the songs. I mean, you just want to sing along. It's just like it's a natural instinct because of the way they're built. So, is that something you do on purpose, or just that's just the way that things come about?
I mean, it's a good question. I think that we want to make music that we like and we want to sing along to. And so that comes along with the territory of like, we want people to enjoy it as well. We aren't necessarily a band that does like art for our art's sake. We want to do it for us and for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just been our prerogative, is always to give. You know, you receive and you give all the time. But we do think about it, and I don't know if we think about it so much on what other people want to hear and more like what we really like and what we really want to hear, and hope that it translates, because maybe it doesn't sometimes, and it is what it is. Like, sometimes there's singles and sometimes there's not, but it doesn't mean we don't love all of it and we didn't mean all of it.
Yeah, sometimes if you're trying to be somebody you're not, it comes across as not being genuine. And I think the opposite is true for you guys. The songs that you put out come across as genuine. So I think that's what is just one of the parts of your success, is because I think you connect with people because you're being yourself. One thing
I mean, I can't complain about that, because I agree. Like, I think that's all we try to do, and that's the funny thing is, I think maybe what we are told, because we can't have an objective stance on what we are, what we look like, because we are who we are. So it's really hard to do that. But what we're told is it's kind of refreshing to have a band who really doesn't, try to be anything or try to look a certain way in photos, and really just tries to do what you're trying to do in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about the song "Coming Home," which is an interesting song because it seems to be like it's the unofficial song of Toronto, or maybe it's even the official song of Toronto. But it's a real tribute to your city. So how did that come about? Because that kind of got you a lot of attention as well.
It's, again, when I think about, like you said, when I think about the processes, it's so long and so much of an adventure, and it's like packed into this like, trying to tell you what it's like in a sentence, and I just kind of like, whoa, like going through my memory, kind of like a quick movie. But we wrote, the band is here now. Hi guys. So we wrote the song first,
Mm-hmm.
and then as it went along, so you'll even notice in the video, like in the song we don't really mention Toronto, because it was originally supposed to be about just like what it feels like to feel at home, both in
wherever you are,
the physical place you live in, or if not, inside of yourself, finding home in yourself. And then as we went along, I at the time felt really connected to Toronto and the people and the culture that we were living in at the time, and somehow it really connected to the song and it made sense, and then it just grew from there, and we could have never expected what happened once. In a way, I don't want to degrade our work, because we worked really hard on it and we hoped that it would do well. We knew it would hopefully, get some shares, but we didn't see the virality of coming like that. Like, that was like one of the most like adrenaline rush feeling days of our lives. Like, we're all sitting there in a Starbucks kind of working away, sending it to our friends like, hey, can you share this? And then it just kept going and going and going. We're like, whoa, like what is happening? And like 3 hours later it's like 50,000, and kept going up, and that was just like, you don't know what to say. You're just kind of living in the moment and like screaming and like freaking out that it's happening, and really happy that people care about it and they like it.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So we're you're going to be touring with the Royal Foundry, at least for a couple of their dates. So have you played with them before, or is this will be the first time?
No, we've only talked to them over like Skype and stuff, and they are really cool. They're really cool people. We like their music a lot, and that's why we're excited to go on tour with them. They're fun. They're high energy. I think they have a lot of the same interests and morals in music that we do. So I think it's a really great match that we're on the road. And also, like, music-wise, we hope that people that like their music like ours, and vice versa. I think it's a good match. And I'm really excited to meet them. Everything that we've so far, like, translated with each other seems to be really positive and awesome. And, yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be really good.
So you're kind of a co-headlining, right?
Yeah, we're co-headlining.
So what is it? Is it a fist fight? Like, who gets to play first? Coin toss? Rock, paper, scissors?
You know what? We're so Canadian about this? Like, it's the opposite. It's like, do you want it?
Yeah.
No, 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 no. Like, no, but I think I think for the most part, and in general, whenever we've done co-headlines before, it's really polite and it's really nice, and it's nothing like that. Like, for most people, like, for the most part, most people are really cool about, you take this night, you take this night, or if you have a draw on this night, you should take this slot. Like, it's nothing like that. And I hope to not ever encounter that kind of energy.
No, it's true. The good thing about being Canadian is being known for this politeness and
yeah.
So at least we got that going for us.
Yeah, because we're there to make music and have a good time, and that's what's most important. We want to make sure that's translated, and the people that came out and bought a ticket, that's what matters more than anything.
The only thing I don't like about being in Canada, and I don't know whose fault this is or who I can blame, but whoever decided to separate us in the United States like horizontally instead of vertically, I'm really mad about them. Like, at least give us Florida, give us California, give us someplace hot. But no.
Yeah.
You guys keep the cold, and we're so polite. We go, oh yeah, no problem. We'll stay up in the north and freeze.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that you should run for president and for prime minister. And see what happens if you can make it happen for us. That'd be really nice. They've had it not long enough,
But I think that's one thing about being Canadian too is when the cold comes, like Toronto is very similar to Montreal. When the cold comes, everybody hibernates.
Oh yeah.
We all kind of retreat to our little hovels and there's shows and things where you get to enjoy the warmth of the friendships and but the summertime, it comes alive. The city comes alive. I mean, Toronto, you have TIFF, you have all these festivals.
The smiles come out. It's funny because even like I feel there was a heat wave here just a week ago or something, and for some reason all of a sudden it was like summer again. And it was so funny because you could feel everyone dropping off in the sadness of it's going to be cold. And then that weekend was just like explosion, like smiles and children laughing. And you're just like, this is so insane how like incredibly, how this affects everyone so much. Like, and I meet sometimes people who don't get affected by it. I'm like, man, you are something else. Like, you are so awesome and lucky because it's not easy. And a couple of years ago, I remember making a decision of being like, look, I need to stop hibernating and I'm gonna go out for a couple of years. I did that. I'm like, I went out to shows in the winter because I feel bad. People play shows and you don't go out and support for what reason? Because I'm cold? Like, come on. So I would go out and do all of that. And then funny enough, last year I was like, I did my part and I'm gonna now I'm gonna stay home and someone else can champion it for a bit. But I think you have to do both. You have to go out and support, and if you want to be supported, you always have to support. So it's a.
And what better way to support you guys than to show up at Petit Campus, which is on the November the 8th on a Thursday. So that'll be a fun night, and it'll be like you guys already are full of energy. I spoke to the Royal Foundry right before speaking to you, and they seem like they're going to be a lot of high energy performers as well. So it's going to be quite a cool evening, I believe.
I'm excited to hear or see that interview. That's going to be really funny because it's like the the corn on the other side. Like that's really cool. But yeah, we're really excited about this new song, Let It Go. And what it represents for us. And like I said, Control Freak was the name of the EP, and it says a lot about us. And then this song said a lot about us. And counter to that is that we are control freaks, and we have to learn to let it go. And that's kind of the process we went through in this album.
And do you find that when you're performing, you also have to kind of let it go as well, as if to kind of step out of your comfort zone and just be in the moment and really...
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it's funny. Every show is so special and so different, and you feel so different, and so it's hard to compare one next to the other. But there are moments where the funnest moments are sometimes is that when things are not necessarily going right and things start to go wrong, whatever it is, like digitally or whatever's going on, like, and you're kind of like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do, so here we go. But sometimes that's like the best performances. You know what I mean? Because you've kind of let go of that, like, needing to have everything be on time and perfect, and and it's kind of, sometimes it feels so good to be able to also just like let that feeling go. And I don't know what you're going to get in Montreal. Like, it's hard to ever tell what the show is going to be like, so you'll have to come out and see what happens. Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I think we know the music will be the music, but in which way you will receive it, it will always be different.
And I think it humanizes you to see, okay, not everybody's perfect, but we don't deal with perfect lives. So on a day-to-day basis, we have to let it go. So
absolutely,
it's something that's
you have to relearn that all the time. Like, how many times in your life do you have to relearn about something else that, man, I just gotta like let this go. Like, you relearn it every day, I feel like, about something else. It's a hard mantra to follow through and through.
Yeah. So I'm just going to turn it around, and instead of let it go, it's let's go. Let's go to the Petit Campus and support you guys. We're going to have a fun time. If it's anything like your videos, it's going to be a huge party. Everybody's going to be smiling from ear to ear. Both bands are going to give a tremendous amount of energy that I think will push us right until the next summer. So I think we'll be good.
All right. Well, I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.
No problem. So say hi to the rest of the band, and we look forward to having you in Montreal.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.